taxes do not pay for government spending. It is one of the hardest things that anyone has to get their head around when they really come to understand economics, that taxes really do not pay for government spending. I promise you it's true. Every single penny that the government spends is created by the government. Let's be totally honest, you do know that. If you pick up a £5 note, it says, I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of £5. They haven't paid the bearer on demand £5. They promise to pay the bearer on demand £5. Why? Because money is debt and the government has created a debt to you. So where does tax come into all that? Tax comes into all that because when you pay your taxes, the promise the government has made that it will accept your money in payment is fulfilled. They'll take your money back in payment of your debt. Let me be clear what happens then in the real financial world that we actually live in. Whenever the government spends, it simply extends its overdraft with the Bank of England. Day in, day out, that's what happens. And then it asks us to pay tax, because if it allowed all that money to float around the economy, of course, we would get inflation remarkably quickly. So it asks us to pay tax to cancel the impact of the new money that it has created, and that cancellation is by taxation, and it's there to control inflation. The spend comes first. It's paid for by money created by the Bank of England. The tax comes second. It's there to control inflation, to ensure that the value of the money that we have in circulation remains broadly steady over time. That's the goal. But it's never the case that the tax pays for the spending. The spending has to come first, or the money doesn't exist with which the tax can be paid. It's really that straightforward. It takes a lot of effort to reverse what you've always thought, that tax pays for spending, to realise that spending actually pays for tax. But it is literally true that without government spending, there could be no tax paid. There could be nothing, in fact, because there'd be no money at all. So we have to get our heads around that fact, because then we truly understand how the government functions. And then we can talk about what it can do with this extraordinary power it has to create money at will, whenever it wishes, if it wants to deliver the outcomes that we as a society want, balanced by the taxation that we pay to control the inflationary consequences of doing so.